When I do private putting lessons, the number one problem I help people correct is what they're doing with their hands. Believe it or not, and most golfers don't know how big a role hands play in their putting. If you struggle with being inconsistent, this video is for you because we're going to talk about 5 things to do with your hands when you're putting that will give you a better stroke. You probably never heard these before, and the number 5 one is the number 1 fix for pushing and pulling putts. If you want to be consistent with your putting stroke, you've got to be consistent with your hands. I'm going to give you really quickly 5 things to do to be certain that you've got your hands working in the right way to help your putter stroke. Number 1 is that your hands need to hang under your shoulders. And I'll illustrate that for you this way. So when you're set up to the putt, notice how my hands are here straight under my shoulders. If you're too far out, like your hands are out here away from your, it's hard to, you're going to bring the putter back outside too far or inside too far. And then you've got to make a correction, because if you don't make a correction, then your putter is cutting across or pushing or pulling and you're missing putts. So when you set up, make sure that my hands are directly under my shoulders. Outside too far, it's a problem because your putter starts to swing and rotate too much and you're offline, you can't square the face. Inside too far, not under your shoulders, but inside your shoulders, you're bound up and restricted and you can't make a solid, smooth, stable stroke. So number 1, hands under your shoulders. Number 2, hands relative to your shoulders. Watch this and check this out. So you get set up to a putt and my target line is straight at you there in the camera. Now I'm going to let go of my putter and simply let my hands hang. And you notice if I'm square and parallel, these hands are parallel. But now watch, if my shoulders turn this way, look, one hand comes out in front of the other. If my shoulders turn this way, the other hand is in front of the other. So a great check when you set up to a ball is just simply hands. Are my shoulders square? Well, nope, my hands aren't square, so my shoulders aren't. Here, yeah, nope, right there. Now, I'm set up with my shoulders square to the target line. Using that check with your hands will show you whether or not your shoulders are square. Third thing with your hands is that your hands need to be on the putter in such a way that your forearms are an extension of the putter. In other words, a straight line here. I see so many people, and the problem is because we grip the putter too far down in our fingers. Make sure you've got it up here in your lifeline, on the palms, even all the way up to the pad or the heel of your hand. And let me show you why I say that. So up here in the heel of your hands or through the lifeline, and let me show you why I say that. Now, let's say I'm going to take a golf club, my normal grip for a club, and it's hard to do that with a big putter grip like I have, but my normal grip for a golf club, I have the ability, because it's way out of my fingers, to hinge it. And you want that in a full swing and in a golf swing with a driver or an iron, because you're trying to get leverage on the ball. With a putter, I'm not trying to get leverage. So I want to grip it up in here so that I don't have any rotation with my wrist or any wrist cock or any leverage. With a putter, I'm trying to keep my wrist not moving, because if my wrists are moving or leveraging, then the stroke is not stable. The ball hops and bounces instead of rolls, and it goes offline left and right. That's the source of a lot of grip or a lot of inconsistency in your putting. So make sure no fingers, but up here in the palms of your hands, so that you don't have any leveraging or wristing with the putter. That's the key thing. And while we're talking about how you put your hands on the putter, let me add another thing. Grip pressure. This is the next thing with the hands. You need to grip the putter fairly firm. And here's what I mean by that. I hear a lot of people say, oh, grip it really loose, like you're holding a baby bird or something. The problem with that is when I have a light grip in this putter, it's easy to wobble. And so what will happen is I'll have a wobble, inconsistency. You know, my backstroke will look like this, or my through stroke will look like, it's flimsy and the stroke is not stable. You don't want that. So be sure that you've got it gripped firm enough. And here's what I say about grip. I want to grip it as firmly as I can without any tension in my hands or my arms. Now, I should have some tension in my putting stroke, and it should be in here in my core. Hands and arms should be completely relaxed. And here's the thing, if you think about it, because I'm gripping it in here, in the palms, and not with the fingers, I can have a solid grip without squeezing, without creating any tension, without putting pressure on it. So, firm as I can grab it without any tension. And that's not very firm because I've got it in the big part of my hand, not in my fingers. The last thing with your hands in the putting stroke, and if you'll get this right, it'll virtually eliminate your pushing and pulling putts. This is the #1 cause of pushing and pulling putts, and that is that your hands are too low. Let me illustrate what I mean. So I see a lot of people set up, and you know, you can do the check. Okay, my shoulders are square to my target line. Now I take the putter. My hands are under my shoulders, but my hands are a little low like this. The toe of the putter comes up. And I know people are going to say, oh, Tiger Woods putted for a long time with the toe of his putter up. Yes, he did. And a lot of you are going to hate on me, but Tiger Woods, even the years where he was winning everything, was never in the top 20 putters on the tour. His statistics just didn't put him in the top 20. Now, he was absolutely the best clutch putter of all time, but that was because of his mental focus and 2 hours of putting practice every day. He got it in the hole. You're not Tiger Woods. You don't have that mental focus. You don't have 2 hours to practice every day. When you have your hands too low, what happens is the toe of the putter comes up. Scotty Cameron, famous putter maker, designer, engineer, says if you have the toe of the putter up, that you're aimed to the right as much as 3 to 5 degrees. That's why Tiger Woods talks about feeling the putter release, because he's making a big arcing stroke like a gate, like the windshield wiper on a car. That's why his son Charlie says he's a hook putter. You don't have the practice time and, no offense, the manual dexterity and the skill that Tiger Woods had to be able to do that. And if you putt with the toe up, you're aimed to the right. Plus, if you have your hands too low, then what happens is you have a big arcing stroke, literally like the windshield wiper on a car, and your timing has to be absolutely perfect, or you're not going to start the ball on line. You're going to push it or pull it or hook it. So, hands set up, hands are low, and it's really hard because the putter's going to swing like a gate. But check this out. If I simply have my hands a little higher, then it's much easier, much more stable to be straight back in that first 5 inches behind the ball, and then let your stroke naturally arc because that's the way your body works, and straight through in that last 5 inches before contact with the ball. And again, I'll show you the difference, and we'll do it from 2 angles so you can be sure and see what I'm talking about. So here I'm set up fairly well, but the hands are too low. There the hands are about right. And you go, that little bit of difference does make a huge difference in your stroke and whether or not you can keep the putter face square. So let's do it again from this angle. Set up fairly well. Hands are too low. The putter arcs really fast. Hands up a little higher. the putter goes straight back and through, at least for that first 4 or 5 inches, and then it arcs naturally on its own. So if you try these 5 simple things with your hands, you'll have a better stroke and make a lot more putts. Make certain that your hands are hanging under your shoulders, not too far outside, not too far inside. Use your hands as a checkpoint for whether or not your shoulders are square to the target line. Third, make certain that your hands are on the putter in such a way that the putter is an extension, a straight line extension of your forearms. There's not any angle or leverage on the club. Fourth, make sure that your putter is gripped here in the palm, not in the fingers, with a firm enough grip so that it's not wobbling and it stays nice and stable, but not so firm that you have tensions. So as firm as you can without any tension in your arms or hands. And then the last one, make certain that you don't have your hands too low in here, and obviously you don't want to get out too high where the heel is up, although if you're going to make an error, that's preferred. If you'll do those 5 things, I promise you, you'll have a much better putting stroke. You'll start putts on line, they'll roll, and you will virtually eliminate pushing and pulling. And if you like having a better stroke, making more putts, you ought to check out this video on the screen now. And until next time, here's to you making more putts. Just take the putter out. Let me have the putter, okay? Now, just relax your arms. Hold your hands down straight. Okay, so you're set up. Your shoulders are pointed left and your feet are pointed right. Do you see what I'm talking about? Like with your hand, you're letting your hands hang. You see where your shoulders.
Yeah.
That just reveals to you where your shoulders are. All right.
Okay.
Now take the putt and set up from there. You're aimed a little bit left the line and everything, but okay, right there. Dead in the middle.